I welcome you all to my channel. Today we will talk about the conventions or rules which are followed in order to name a disaccharide. We have already seen what is disaccharide. We have seen how to draw the structures of three most important disaccharides. Then we have seen the meaning of reducing and non-reducing sugars, meaning of acetal, hemiacetal, ketal, hemiketal, etc. in our previous videos. So today let's try to name these disaccharides. Let's begin. First we will try to name sucrose. Now let's see the rules. The first rule says that you have to write down the configuration of the anomeric carbon of the first monosaccharide involved in the formation of a disaccharide. In the formation of sucrose, over here the first monosaccharide involved is glucose. So the configuration of the anomeric carbon, over here it is alpha because OH is on the lower side, that is OH, and over here CH2OH, they are in opposite directions. So this is our alpha glucose. So we will write down the configuration of the anomeric carbon of the first monosaccharide. So over here I have written alpha D, and as all monosaccharides are D, so you can ignore this D also. So we will start nomenclature of disaccharides with the configuration of the anomeric carbon of the first monosaccharide. So over here I have written alpha D. The second rule says write down whether the first monosaccharide involved is a pyran or a furan. As you all know, in disaccharides the first monosaccharide which is involved is mostly or always is non-reducing. So we have to write down the non-reducing end of the disaccharide, whether it is pyran or furan. Over here it is pyran, so we will write alpha D glucopyranose. This is the first part of the name. The third rule says that within parentheses, that is within brackets, you have to write down the number of carbon which is involved in glycosidic bond formation. Over here, carbon number 1 of glucose and carbon number 2 of fructose are involved in glycosidic bond formation. So in bracket we will write 1 and 2, and in between them we have to represent glycosidic bond, and as sucrose is a non-reducing disaccharide, so we will use a double-headed arrow. In case of reducing disaccharides, we will use single-headed arrow. So 1 double-headed arrow, 2. So this is the third rule. The last rule is name the second residue. Why monosaccharides are called as residue over here? Because the monosaccharides are joined by the formation of glycosidic bond, and it is a condensation reaction. Glycosidic bond formation is a condensation reaction. That is, during glycosidic bond formation, water molecule is leaving that reaction, that is water molecule is lost. So whenever water molecule is lost during condensation reaction, the things that are left behind or the chemical constituents which are left behind are called as residues. Like we are using amino acid residue, the word amino acid residue. In case of peptide bond formation also, water molecule is lost and amino acids are joined together. So the amino acids which are left behind or which are joined due to loss of that water molecule will be called as amino acid residue. So after formation of glycosidic bonds, the sugar molecules which are joined will be also called as sugar residues. And the fourth rule says you have to write down information about the next monosaccharide which is joined by the help of glycosidic bond to form that disaccharide. So in here the second monosaccharide is our D-fructofuranose, that is beta D-fructofuranose. So I will write the name of sucrose as alpha D-glucopyranose in bracket 1, 2, D-fructofuranose. We can write this name in short form like this. We can ignore D and pyran and furan because fructose is mostly stable in furan form and glucose is stable in pyran form. So pyran and furan can be ignored as well as D can be ignored. So we can write GLC for glucose in brackets alpha 1 double-headed arrow 2 beta fructose. So this is the nomenclature of sucrose. Now let's see the nomenclature of maltose. Maltose is a disaccharide formed due to two glucose molecules. A glycosidic bond is formed in between carbon number 1 of first glucose molecule and carbon number 4 of the second glucose molecule. So over here alpha D-glucopyranose is combining with beta D-glucopyranose or beta D-glucose, and a maltose is formed and glycosidic bond is formed in between carbon number 1 and 4. By following the same rules, we will write the name as this. First, we will write the configuration of the first monosaccharide. So, alpha D glucopyranose. Then second bracket 1 single-headed arrow 4, as this is a reducing sugar, so we will use a single-headed arrow. Then the second monosaccharide, we will name the second monosaccharide, that is second monosaccharide is our D glucose, beta D glucose, so D glucopyranose. In short, we will write GLC alpha 1 single-headed arrow 4 GLC. Now we will see the nomenclature of lactose. A lactose is a disaccharide formed due to one galactose molecule and glucose molecule joined together by glycosidic bond. Over here, the glycosidic bond is formed in between carbon number 1, that is anomeric carbon of galactose, and carbon number 4 of glucose. So we will follow the rules to do the nomenclature. The first rule, give the configuration. So the configuration of the first monosaccharide is beta. So we will write beta D galactopyranose. The second one says pyranopurine, so we have written pyranose. The third rule says write down the number of carbon atoms involved. So over here carbon number 1 and carbon number 4 are involved, and as this is a reducing sugar, so we will use a single-headed arrow. Then the last rule says you have to write down about the second monosaccharide. The second monosaccharide over here is beta D glucose, so I have written D glucopyranose, and in short form I will write galactose. For galactose I will write GAL beta 1 single-headed arrow 4 GLC for glucose. So we have learned how to do the nomenclature of disaccharides. You can join my Telegram channel, the link of which is given in the description box. You can ask me doubts directly there. Subscribe to my channel, like and share. Thank you for watching.